Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, general nasiha as we walk to Maghrib. So, the last thing we're talking about is having your children be under control in the masjid. But here's something else. When you're going to the masjid, or when you're, let's say you're in the prayer, right? Slow down. Slow down. Where you running to? You come in, you miss the first rak'ah. Okay, it happens. You miss the second rak'ah. Okay, it happens. But you shouldn't be doing a speed rak'ah when you're making up your rak'ah, your rak'ahat. You shouldn't be doing that. You have to have the same khushu' when you are making up rak'ahat that you missed in the salah as you would have when you were praying with the imam in the first place. I see this a lot. People just flying through the salah, and at first I thought, okay, maybe I'm getting a little older, you know, so maybe I'm praying slower. I am more mindful of what I'm saying, and if you're like that, it's gonna naturally make you slow down because you're thinking about what you're saying. You're not just, you know, a parrot just repeating, or a monkey just going through the motions. There's some purpose. You know, you're being very purposeful, you know, in what you're doing. It's not to just get it made and get it done. And unfortunately, one of the pitfalls of making salah like this is that we fall into a habit. It becomes ritualized, and it's not something that you're conscious of. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that you are thinking about what you're saying. It's just a process. It's just something that you just do because you're supposed to do it. Much like Ramadan, right? Everybody's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the first week, and then about right around the second week of Ramadan, you see the numbers start dropping off because now we've gotten into just the ritual of fasting, and now we're not as careful or as mindful or as thoughtful or as purposeful as we were when we first started fasting. So, you know, the newness of it has worn off. So, you know, when you're making up the salah, slow down. The other thing, as I start to turn this corner here, the other thing is, when you are in the salah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said the imam is appointed to be followed. So you can't just be in the salah and move when you want to move. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. You can't move when you want to move. So there are people in the sajda, they're making dua in the sajda. We all know about the benefit of making the dua when we're in the sajda. But when the imam says Allahu Akbar, you gotta cut the dua off. You can't finish your dua, and then when you get finished, you sit up. Because then that means what? That means you're not really following the imam, you're following yourself. You move when you want to move, you sit when you want to sit, you make sujood when you want to make sujood. That means you're following yourself, you ain't following the imam. So, you know, you might run into some problems having your salah accepted, and a reminder benefits the believer. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.